What made the sweetest woman in our office snap and sue everyone? Everyone knew Rowena was the office guardian angel. She remembered things nobody else would, like when Darren mentioned once his daughter loved astronomy, and 3 months later she showed up with NASA patches for the little girl's birthday. Her desk drawer was legendary, always stocked with everyone's favorite snacks, including sugar-free candy for diabetic Eddie and those expensive gluten-free crackers for Esme. She even brought homemade lasagna during late nights, covered shifts when someone looked exhausted, and once drove 2 hours round trip to deliver a forgotten laptop before a career-defining presentation. When we would ask why she did all that, she'd just smile with those kind eyes and say, taking care of people was her love language. 3 weeks ago, Rowena's 17-year-old daughter Fia needed emergency heart surgery after a gymnastics accident revealed a life-threatening arterial tear. This woman who'd never asked us for anything, who'd given everything to everyone, placed one small card in the break room with a handwritten note. If you have a moment, please sign this card. Fia would love to hear from everyone before her surgery. The card sat right next to the coffee machine where all of us went multiple times a day. Rowena even sent one gentle email reminder, her words so careful not to pressure anyone, just mentioning she'd take the card to the hospital Thursday morning. That's all she wanted, our signatures on a piece of paper for her terrified teenage daughter. Thursday morning arrived, and Rowena came in early, wearing the lucky purple blouse Fia had given her last Mother's Day. Her eyes were puffy from crying, her hands trembling as she made coffee for everyone like always, even though her world was falling apart. She'd brought fresh donuts too, because that's who Rowena was. But when she picked up the card and opened it to add her own message before leaving for the hospital, her face just crumbled. The card was blank, completely, utterly blank. 40 people she'd loved and cared for couldn't write their names. She stood there clutching that empty card, tears rolling down her cheeks. But then, at exactly 10 a.m., while Fia was probably being wheeled into surgery, the office suddenly exploded in celebration. We had thrown a massive surprise party for Muffin, the boss's golden doodle, a 3-tier dog cake, custom party hats, a professionally printed banner reading, "Happy 5th birthday, Muffin." The same people who couldn't sign a card for a scared teenager facing death were now singing happy birthday to a dog, laughing, and taking selfies. Rowena sat at her desk, watching her phone for news about her daughter's heart, while her coworkers celebrated a dog's birthday 10 feet away. The next morning, after Fia survived 12 hours of surgery, Rowena dragged herself back to work because we needed her for the quarterly reports. She hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, was still wearing the same purple blouse now wrinkled and stained with tears. Her supervisor Kent's first words weren't about Fia. "Rowena, it really hurt team morale that you skipped Muffin's party. You know how important these team-building events are." Then Tilda from accounting complained that Rowena hadn't contributed to Muffin's gift fund, and they'd had to order pizza since Rowena wasn't there with her homemade food. Lysandra from HR looked Rowena dead in the eyes, this broken mother who'd just spent the night wondering if her child would survive, and said coldly, "We all have personal problems, but work is work. Why weren't you there for Muffin?" Nobody asked if Fia was alive. Nobody noticed the hospital bracelet still cutting into Rowena's wrist. Rowena stood up with a calmness that scared everyone. She walked to her desk, pulled out her keys, and locked the famous snack drawer with a click that echoed through the silent office. Then she opened her laptop and started typing while speaking in a voice none of us had ever heard. "You want to talk about work? Let's talk about work. I've documented everything. $8,000 of my own money feeding you people. 200 shifts covered. 300 nights staying late fixing your mistakes." She looked at Kent with eyes that could cut glass. "Here's my resignation, effective immediately. And here's something else. A detailed invoice for every penny I've spent on this office. My lawyer will be in touch." She picked up Fia's picture, gathered all of her stuff, and started walking out. My daughter lived, by the way. Not that any of you asked. Her declaration left all of us in silence. The lawsuit settled for $20,000. Rowena used it to start her own consulting firm and took 6 major clients with her. The office never recovered.